Okay. It's official. Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Real Spill, where we getting ready to unpack some shit. Okay. So, today we're going to be discussing relationship. I'm going to say relationship situations, but different aspects in relationships. And so I think this should be a good one because I'm pretty sure all these faces here have different views on everything. Is that fair to assume?
Oh yeah.
Cool beans. Okay. So, did anybody have any questions in particular that they wanted to go over? I kind of made a list for myself of some questions that I wanted to talk about. I don't know how long we'll be on here today, but these tend to go a little bit long depending on um, how deep we go into things.
Hey, I got a quick suggestion. Since
Go
we're
ahead.
talking about relationships, let's kind of like each one of us tell us what our relationship status is now.
Okay. Good idea.
Yeah. So I'm Marcus. I'm single. I was married for 23 years, and I've been single now for almost two.
Nice.
I'll go next. So I have the mother of my children, and we co-parent. Um, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm Kia and I'm single. And yeah, I had a really long situation that it's still touchy, so I won't go into a lot of detail. But it was dramatic and a rough learning experience, if you will.
I'm Vay, and I'm in a polygamous relationship.
That's dope. I can't wait to hear more.
Hey now, hey,
Right.
I'm
Like,
ready for
like,
this one.
I want to know. Okay. I'm Naja again. I am single. I have always been single. I'm 32 and a half. Always been single, never married, never in a relationship longer than 4 or 5 months. Have been in love a couple of times, and those in loves don't necessarily coordinate with the relationships. So
Hey guys, I'm Chanel. I have been in a relationship for about a year and a half now. We are, I would say, a private relationship though, so it is not social media ready, which is a whole topic in itself.
What do you mean not social media ready? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, Kia. So basically, we have been very intentional about not posting each other on social media, on Instagram and Facebook and all of those sites. And but we have committed to being loyal to each other in the sense that we don't have other relationships with other people.
So exclusive, but not publicly exclusive.
You got it.
Got it. Does that works well, doesn't it?
You know, I be in my feelings sometimes. Sometimes it works really well. Sometimes I hate it, but it seems to be going well so far.
That makes sense. I can agree with that. Okay. We just got another conversationalist. Brenda's joined. We also need Michelle's kind of introduction. Brenda, Michelle, either one of you want to jump in?
Um, well, I'm Brenda. I'm Kia's auntie. Um, I'm married, remarried twice, um, which the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. And yeah, happy to see all you guys. I see.
And then we got Michelle.
You there, Michelle?
Oh, I'm sorry. What happened?
So we were all given kind of introductions to our relationship statuses to see how many different perspectives we'll have on here. So if you just want to give a little introduction about your relationship and that part.
Well, I'm Michelle, and I just recently got engaged. And I've been with him we broke up at first, and then we got back together. So we've been together for 2 years.
Congratulations, Michelle.
Thank you, Marcus.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we do have a chat room. If somebody is talking and you do have a question, you are free to type in and we can put the comments up on the screen so everybody can read them if they can't see them on the side. We have a private chat room as well for us that are on the panel where we can converse without it being publicized. So that part. Does anybody have any starter questions that they would like to touch on first?
Nah, you should just lead us, Kia.
Okay. Let me take this deep breath. Mawusa. Run it in. Okay. So what I kind of wanted to start with was why do you guys feel that a lot of relationships are not lasting these days?
Okay, so sorry, I was just commenting on this on Facebook. A couple of things for me. I feel like people are lying to themselves / they just don't know themselves. They're not thinking things through. They're not talking to their friends enough, listening to their friends enough when their friends be like, girl, you know you don't, or boy, come on, you know you ain't like that. They don't know themselves, so they don't know what they want. So they don't know what they want from a partner. And let's say they do know themselves, we're not practiced at communicating well with others. That's something that I just realized about myself. Like last week, I was in therapy, like, girl, I don't know how to tell people what I want. And so it's those two things. And then I think it's latent Victorianism from the church and from our parents and from like purity culture and crap like that. I think those are the three big ones. I'll let other people chime in for sure.
I personally think that's why I'm in a polygamous relationship, that we are taught to be monogamous. And I think that it's an unrealistic thing to really do, because by nature we feed off of different people. I mean, even from your friends, like different people bring out different qualities in you, and I think it's unrealistic to put that type of expectation on one person to give you what you need in a relationship, because not if that was the case, you would only have one friend. Like, you need multiple opinions. And so I feel like when you're trying to figure out who you are or develop who you are, and then you put all these expectations on one person, it just becomes stressful on the relationship, because you're still seeking things that maybe that one person doesn't give you because they're not capable of, of giving you that at that time. Maybe that's not where they're at.
Yeah, I want to piggyback a little bit off of what Naja said. I think if I'm looking clearly at myself and what I did wrong in past relationships, it was this false sense of control. And I think that stems from an idea of, my life isn't together and I don't know how to get my stuff together. So let me get this guy together and almost force him to be the person that I want him to be, where really we should be getting that from ourselves. So, I think, Kia, we could probably talk for hours about why relationships fail. And there's a lot of different reasons for a lot of different people. But from personal experience, I would say trying to control a person Christian and I were just talking about this the other day, trying to make a person be different when that's not why we're put on this earth.
I actually don't like the question, Kia, because the question, what it does, it frames it in a way where relationships are going to fail, right? Like, and I don't think that's fair, right? We need to give more credence to the actual idea that there are relationships that do work, right? Whatever it looks like, whatever the form is, that there are relationships that do work. And I don't want us to begin with this preface like, oh, well, it's gonna fail. We're failing, because then we begin to frame our whole relationship based on, oh, I'm gonna be in a relationship and that shit's gonna probably fail. I'm gonna enjoy it while it lasts, but it's gonna end sometime soon. And it's just a really hard thing to conceptualize success if we frame it as relationships do not work, right? And they can, right? I think they can. I think that everything that everyone has said before is very valid, right? And we need to be honest with ourselves about what we require from ourselves and what will require from other people and what we would like them to require from us. And so, like, I would like to frame it in what would make our relationships more successful, right? And so, maybe that means taking more time with the courting, right? Maybe that means having like these tempered expectations, right? Like maybe it means polygamous relationships. Maybe it means shutting the fuck up. I don't know, whatever it may be, right? And you like that, Naja?
I was gonna get that. I was gonna get there, but I think I wanted to start with why relationships don't work, because we have all experienced at some point failure in a relationship, correct? So
Yeah.
I wanted to base it more on people who are in relationships to give their perspectives as to why their relationships work. So that's why I started with the negative perspective first, because I think just like they said, we are seeking what we're seeking, correct? And it is hard to find all the qualities in one individual. And so then you have to break down the relationship to where you have to do a pros and cons list to see if it could be something that, hell, I mean, even just, is it going to be a waste of time, or is this going to be worth traveling down that road? You know what I mean? So having that time to really get to know each other, I feel is very important, because it kind of gives you an idea of how this relationship could work, or if this relationship could work.
So I'm curious, Brenda, because you're saying that you've had a relationship that didn't work and then you came back to revisit it. What was the driving force to you revisiting this relationship? And was there anything that was done different? I know you were talking about insanity, but
Well, for me, I will venture to say, and Rakia hates me to say this, but I'm probably the older person on this panel. And so this person, my husband, um, we've probably been in each other's lives for over 20 years. And we have children, 2 children, one of them which passed away, my oldest son. But um, I left the first time because I was just unhappy. The kids were unhappy, and there were things going on that I just said, I gotta stop this and get out of it. We came back together after our son passed away, and that was more or less because, of course, we still loved each other, but also to try to heal our son, our youngest son. So I guess it was out of a sense of need, a sense of trying to come around our youngest son and support. And so, yeah, that's what we did. And things are working better. Some things are working better than before, and some things are not. So It's kind of where it is.
What about you, Marcus? Like, I know you said you're no longer married. Like, um, and you've been single for 2 years. Is that on purpose, or is it that you're not you can't you're not finding this person to that you would like to be with?
Uh, I've dated off and on since I've been single. I think that I'm not sure how to word this, but you have to meet somebody that has the same idea of a relationship that you do. You know what I'm saying? Like my idea of a relationship may not be similar to or even close to the person that I'm dating or want to be in a relationship with. You know, I'm old school, so I like being monogamous or exclusive with my partner. And it's, you know, how they say you become one. But I was just introduced to a term a couple weeks ago. It's called 80-20-80. You know, you get to be yourself 80% of the, you know, and then our relationship is just 20% of who we are. And then the other 80 is my partner. So I think if you find somebody that has the same idea of the type of relationship you want, it'll be you stand a better chance of having a successful relationship, you know. That's my take.
I'm gonna challenge you a little bit here,
Okay.
because you're old school, right? And you're
Right.
like, oh, I'm old school, so that means monogamy, right? So you view as polygamy is a new school thing, but I would say that I think that's as old as humans
It
themselves too,
is.
right?
It
And so
is.
I want us to make sure that when we reference anything that we like and what we want, that we don't box ourselves into, when it existed, right? Because like I said, polygamy might be an older frame of thought than even monogamy, right? Like that. And so from a historical standpoint, it's just in the context of how we get here. And I know Naja has a lot to add here, right? And so in the idea of that relationships are not as traditional or as typical as what is being pushed, or is what we're pushing, right? And so, and even in the dating scene, like, because Marcus, you said that you're dating, do you find that a lot of people are in away from the frame mind of monogamy?
I do, and I'm gonna uh, go back a little bit. Me being old school and uh, you know what's the term again? For almost said
It's
planic.
polygamy, yeah.
I can't get it out. But anyway, those are just two different ideas of the type of relationship that somebody would want. You know what I'm saying? I mean, me being a man, I think being in a polygamous relationship would be beautiful. But that's not what I want for myself or my partner. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not all the successful relationships that I've witnessed growing up in my life. Those are the ideal type of relationships I would like to have. You know, and me dating, I see people all the time that I'm attracted to, you know, but their idea of a relationship doesn't match what I think, you know, would work. And you know, dating is just dating. People date and they see other people, and that kind of with me dating, and you're letting me know that you see other people or you're interested in other people. It just lets me know that I'm not the one, you know? Like I feel like if I met somebody and I like them and I'm dating them, if I'm digging you, I don't want to deal with anybody else. I like you. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of throws me off a little bit.
Absolutely.
So I want to hear from Vay for sure because she's the person who's in it. But I think what Christian, the question was, well, there's a question in the chat, but I want to say my thing because I think what Christian wants me to say, and I think he wants me to keep it real because we were just having this conversation the other day. A couple of things. So Marcus, like you, or maybe not like you, I am needy and I like all the attention for myself. And so I do not want to share a man with somebody else. Now, that said, I also understand that not everybody feels that way, right? I understand that there are people who can want to do the like building with one person. We have kids together, we have a home together, maybe we're married on paper, but they might need to go dibble and dabble here and there, and it doesn't have anything to do with like their home that they've built. I understand that logically. I also know that for me and mine, like I want it all for me. So what Christian and I were talking about is I was telling him like, okay. So like what else could you do? And so it was like, okay, maybe if you have two couples or three sets of couples or four sets of couples and y'all share in and amongst each other, but the couples still belong to the couple because like I still feel, I don't know if that's like my old school fighting with my new school or if that whatever words we want to use, my adventurousness fighting with my need for security. Like I don't know what that fuels from. I don't have a need to spread it out. I would like to be with one man, but because I've listened to people talk, because I know the tropes that they say about men and how men are visual and how they're like conquerors and how they are going to see something that they like and they might want to try it out. And also cheating has never been a deal breaker for me. Cheating, whatever. Open relationships are not a deal breaker for me. So it's kind of like I'm open to figuring out what it could look like for me to feel secure. And also I'm like I'm gonna always get mine. Like I'm gonna just be honest, like I'm gonna always get mine. Cause you can't be out there with somebody else and me at home needing some and you out there with somebody else. That's not gonna fly for any period of time. But as long as I'm satisfied, then as long as you're not lying to me, then we can talk about what some other solutions are to some other things. And I may have forgotten something, but I definitely want to hear from Vay.
So I think I want to just like start with polygamy. I think there's this like negative connotation that it's like one person and then especially like with men. So in my polygamous relationship, it's me and my husband and our wife, right? But I think a lot of people perceive it as like it's one guy that has two girls and they know about each other. And that's definitely not the case. I think a lot of people really confuse polygamy with an open relationship. And that's why I was very adamant to say that's our wife. She's a part of us. Like it's not just his girl or my girl or anything like that. And so when it comes to the attention or the need, because there's a level of intimacy that me and her share, it doesn't seem like, oh, well, he's showing her time right now or showing me time right now because we're one, we're a unit. You get what I'm saying? We work and operate together. We build together. We have everything established as just as any other couple would, but there's just three of us. You get what I'm saying? Granted, right now we all don't live in the same house. So we've been having a little bit of issues. I'm gonna keep it 100 with that because it's like, all right, well, me and him were together first. And then we decided to expand in our relationship and bring her in. So now it's like, well, you're not with us as much. Well, that's a simple fix. Like once a year from now, we can buy a house together, whatever. That's a simple fix. But I think it's just really important to know yourself in that situation. If you can't be intimate with two people and show that intimacy amongst two people, it's not going to work out because it has to be a group effort. Everyone has to bring 100 to the table. If one person's bringing 50%, one person's bringing 25%, another person's bringing 50%, you guys are not operating as a unit. And it's more than just like, oh, well, he has sex with her, or he has sex with me. Like, we operate on a daily basis to build for our family. We all have children separate, like not with each other. We all have children separately. So it's working together to build our family, establish wealth, and build together. So I think once you have a common focus and a common goal, it makes it a lot easier. I think if people are like in competition, or if you have the same vision or perspective on what a polygamous relationship is, then it's never going to be successful.
I have a quick question before anybody else starts talking and you don't start talking no more. So I wish that I were open enough to just do whatever I want, but does that only work if somebody in the relationship is bisexual or open to same-sex situations?
I mean, I really can't like speak. It has
Hey,
never been.
hold on, babe. Can we have somebody mute online? We got a lot of background noise. If you're not speaking, can you please mute?
My wife was not bisexual before she came into the situation. I'm the only woman she's ever been with. So, I mean, I really think it just depends on your mindset as a person, you know what I mean? But that's an area that like took time to develop, because I, on the other hand, I wouldn't say that I'm bisexual. I'm just an open, free spirited person. I just do whatever I feel, you know? And so I've had encounters with other women before. So I've dated other women before. But I know I also can't solely be with a woman, because women are crazy. It's that balance. It's that balance. You get what I'm saying? And that's why I think for us, like, polygamy works, because when me and him are arguing, I can go to her like, hey, babe's tripping. Can you talk to him? Maybe you understand a different perspective than what is going on, or vice versa. Or me and her are fighting about something. Like, it just kind of helps to like have like that checks and balances for us.
I'm curious, Michelle, if you're still with us. I know you have a lot going on, and I know you said that you're engaged. Congratulations again. Do you think that these are conversations that you have to have, about what your expectations is, as far as rather it's like cheating, rather it's him wanting to see other women, or is that all too soon before you get married?
Get out of there. Sorry. Yeah, I would say that's probably too soon for me right now.
All right, can we have you mute again?
So there's a question in the chat about poly, if it only works if it's two women and a man. That's up to you to decide what you guys are comfortable in your relationship. I mean, like I said, it doesn't have to be two women. Like, it depends on what you're looking for, what your common deal, that world looks like for you. I think it gets so common, it should look like for us. You get what I'm saying? You have to determine what you and your partner want, what you guys feel is comfortable, is what's going to work. If it's not what you guys want, it's not going to work.
I do have a question for the men. With that question being asked, can you guys elaborate on how you would feel about that?
Can you what was the question again? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Well, like that's what she was asking. If you were to be in a polygamous relationship, could you be a woman and another man in a relationship?
No, I wouldn't do it, And listen, I'm gonna be honest. I would be uncomfortable being in a relationship with me and two other women. I like just me and my partner. That just the idea of the relationship that I have been, fixed upon me. The idea of being with two women is beautiful, or having two, and I get that those type of relationships work. I understand, like, everybody plays their role and life is beautiful. But with me, I fixate on one person, and that's who I want to be with, and I don't want to be with anybody else when I'm in a relationship. And definitely wouldn't be me and some other guy and my lady. No.
What are you doing?
So
Go ahead.
all right, so for me,
Michelle, tell
she's good.
Michelle to mute
She mu-
herself.
she did. She's muted.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I'm an alpha male, right? Like I'm very comfortable in that role. I also understand that when it comes to women, women have just as much desire for another man as a man has for other women, right? And if I was to be open or ask for another woman, I think it would be very limiting for me to be like, you know what, I can have the other woman, but you can't have the other man. Now, could I live with another man and us share a woman? No, right? Because that the alpha male in me, I mean, even if he's a beta male, that shit is weird to me. Like that, you know what I mean? Like I don't I don't want that. But now could I be like, you know what? You can have another boyfriend who has another house in another state. You know what I mean? Go ahead. But like, but to be in the type of relationship that Vay is talking about, it would be I would have to be I don't know if I could do it. I don't think I could do it. I'm pretty sure I couldn't do it. But I also don't want to say that I would limit the woman that I say that I love to just me, because I also know that I can't meet every woman's need. I know that for sure, right? I know that for sure. And so it would just have to be a conversation. I would have to be very, aware of, I'm not a jealous person either, but like, not saying that it wouldn't surface if that was the case. But I rather give a woman permission to have another boyfriend than her to cheat on me, right? Like I rather do that.
So, um, you've never lived with the other wife? Is that what I understand? Like you
N-
guys all one household.
No, we're not in the same house right now, but like we see each other, like we are at each other's houses together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but and then the reason why I'm asking is because this is just me, and I guess I'm old school too, but I think the living dynamic of being in the same household on a continuous basis, some things will come up.
Yeah,
Feelings, emotions, jealousies will arise if you're in that same house living, like in a traditional household. I think
I agree.
it's human nature.
We do travel a lot, so we spend a lot of time in close proximity where it's the three of us in a living space. But like I said, this is a new relationship, so like I'm not gonna move in with someone right off the bat. I think it takes time, like with any other relationship, it takes time to develop that where there's a comfort level for us to be at that level. So yeah, certainly in time we are going to all have to live together. And will there be issues? Yes. But I think that's why it's important, just like any other relationship, to build a solid foundation before you jump into living together so that you can navigate through those issues as they arise.
So I have a question for you, Vay. When you got into this relationship, was it a mutual agreement or was it one person's idea versus the other person's idea? Like, how did that come about?
You're muted, Vay.
Sorry guys, I was talking. It was a mutual agreement. It wasn't like, really, it was kind of more my ideal, like, hey, would you be open to it? But this is before we even like started dating, so it was like a foundation. This is something about me that I know about me, that I know that I'm willing to do. I was kind of, in a way, already a long time ago in a polygamous relationship. Not really, but it was a mutual understanding that the male was dealing with two women. um she didn't meet his needs on an emotional level, and but she was a part of him, and we knew about each other, and there was like a mutual respect. Does that make sense? um that we had. So it was just navigating through that. So it's something that I've already had, like, kind of already experienced, and I knew that I was open to do it.
So it's more like full disclosure.
Yeah, I don't feel like it was ever hidden. I think from like day one, it was kind of like, yo, this is me.
Okay, I can understand that. I can understand that.
Can I follow up? Oh, go ahead,
Yep.
Keith. Once you have something.
Go ahead. You're good.
So Don, can we bring you into this mix? And so Don, I'm curious, like, because what we discussed last time on these conversations was that you were in you know, you're a lesbian and you're in a relationship with another woman. Can y'all still hear me? Everything went frozen.
We can hear you. She went away real quick.
Okay,
I'll get her
it went
back.
frozen. So I was curious, Don, like, how do you feel about are you a one-to-one relationship? Can your girlfriend have another girlfriend? Could you have another girlfriend? Would any one of y'all feel comfortable with the idea of a polygamous relationship?
Or could you mix it? Would you be willing to mix it? Like if your
Mix
girlfriend
it
came
up.
and said, "Hey, I've got this guy that, you know, he's a part of me." Just kind of like they said, he's a part of me, but I want to be in a relationship with you. Would you be open to that?
With a guy?
It doesn't have to be a guy. I'm gonna say a woman because you obviously you like women and she likes women. But I'm just gonna start there.
Thank you. Instead of using that, the guy analogy is not realistic. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah. So you would be open to your girlfriend having another girlfriend, or her, or you having another girlfriend, and y'all being open like with that relationship?
Yeah, but I'm not a like I don't deal with like fantasy as far as relationships goes or like
We lost her again.
Yeah, we lost her. Yeah.
She'll come back.
in the chat they said she had to leave in a minute, so I didn't know if there was anything anybody wanted to ask her before she had to go.
It looks like Vay is gonna have to leave us too, so we appreciate your contributions.
No problem, you guys. Yeah, is there any other quick
Difficulties.
questions?
Can you guys come back to me? I gotta change phones.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
just go out and then come back in on the phone that you want to be on.
Okay.
I have like 10. So you guys have any other quick questions?
Do you think your husband would be comfortable if you was like, I want a boyfriend?
I don't though. Let me No, honestly, for me, that's not something I would ever desire. Personally, I feel like men are a whole like different breed. Y'all are the most complicated creatures on this earth. Like they say women are complicated. No, you guys are like most of the time not emotionally savvy. Your intellectual with emotions is not there. Like it's too much. It's too much. That's why I feel like having another woman, like we just connect on a deeper level just because women are just more intuitive most times. So it's just like it's having that balance. I feel like men, I can't do it. I can't see myself with two men. Never, ever.
Would the scenario that I put forth earlier, where it's like two couples that I guess that's more like swinging, but I mean, does that is that in the realm of like polygamy and polyamory? No, that's not.
I mean, okay. Well, it is, but it's just not for me. Like, there's just too much going on. Like, it's just for me, it just gets really complicated at that point. To me, it's like a cult at the time. Like to me, like you have all these different people, different emotions. Like it's hard to balance 3 people. You bring 4 people into the picture, that's crazy.
Would you consider adding another wife?
No.
No.
I feel like no one is ever gonna fully give you what you need in a partner. That's just the truth of the matter. That's just the truth. Adding more people isn't going to necessarily solve that. I feel like it's important for me to build the foundation that we have and continue to grow and blossom and learn from each other.
I get it. Like I'm capable of like dating other people, like multiple people, and knowing that they're seeing other people. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not. If I put the stamp on you and I tell the world that you belong to me, I don't want to be with. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're just casually dating, and I've been the side dude in my life plenty of times. You know what I'm saying? And didn't have a problem with that. But if I hold you on a pedestal and tell the world that you are mine and I'm yours, it's just me and you against the world, and that's just how I've always perceived a healthy relationship to be.
Yeah, that's very interesting. It's a slight turn for me in what we're talking about, like, because I do not view relationships like that, right? Like, I do not think I own or possess anyone, right? Like, you are not mine, I am not yours, period, right? And I think because I think like that, I tend to create these maybe healthy and unhealthy barriers with people, right? Where, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, like you're not mine. So whatever you do, I expect you to do what you're gonna do, right? Because I don't claim you as mine. Once I start to claim and have that expectations, then I'm gonna be highly disappointed when you're not able to meet those expectations, right? And so that possessive piece, I really feel feels a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of domestic violence that comes with that possessive piece. That it just really sets relationships in the wrong direction for me.
And you said something that was interesting to me. You were like, I've been the side dude before. Like, this is where I get really confused with people, because people are always like, oh, I could never do polygamy. I could never do this. But, I'm cool with, like, being the side dude. I know they have another relationship going on. Like, what makes you comfortable enough to be okay with that in that situation, but not okay enough to be realistic with the situation? Like, I'm intimate with this person. Well, let me see what draws this person to that person. Let me find out more. Like, maybe they can help benefit me. Maybe there's a side of them that I don't know. Like, it's just weird to me. Like people are quick to be side chicks or side dudes or whatever the case is, but don't want to experience anything deeper and like a deeper understanding. Because realistically, like, if you're gonna be the side piece, why not, like? And then sometimes you're the side piece. Why not get to know the other person?
Well, and it's like that's how it's the relationship started off that way. You know what I'm saying? And it's understood that this is what it is. So I don't have any expectations other than what we do when we're together. I don't want to be in a relationship with multiple people. If I give you my word, that's what I'm gonna do. If we have a mutual understanding what we got going on, that's what it is.
But that's what she's saying, Marcus. She's saying you are in a relationship with the other person. He just don't know it. He just don't know it.
You're right. But it's not like we're making plans to be together forever. I know this is not going to last. You know what I'm saying? This is temporary until you and him work out your issues, or I find somebody else that I like and want to be exclusive with, or however it ends. I don't have any expectations. We're not building a life together.
I feel like it answered the question that was asked in the very beginning within your statement. Why don't relationships last nowadays? Because people are content with playing side roles, or content with being like, until we figure this out, this is where we're at, instead of exploring deeper and trying to really understand what they really want out of the situation. I think we get into a lot of situations. Hold on one second.
I think it's more like people are comfortable closeted more than being out in public.
And that's exactly
so.
As long as I'm the side chick behind closed doors, it's cool. Like, my close friend might know that I'm his side chick, but nobody else knows I'm his side chick. So when he's with me, that's mine. You know what I'm saying? Versus like just being open.
So I was a side chick once. I'm sorry to interrupt. And I didn't like it because I'm super equality. I should get a shirt that says equality. If Valentine comes around and you get her something, you better get me something too. So when I come up with the short end of the stick and you sending flowers and doing all kinds of stuff to that person and I don't get anything, then now I'm getting the short end of the stick. So side chicks, I think something is wrong with them mentally and psychologically if they're okay with that, if they're okay with getting less than what the expectations are, especially if they're in that relationship and they see that person giving 100 to the other person and they're okay, unless they're like they don't have any more expectations. If all I want is a booty call every couple of nights and you can come through, then that's a good understanding as a side chick. But don't be that side chick that gets in your feelings, which is what I did when I didn't get something for Valentine. Oh, I got in my feelings because we pillow talk is a motherfucker, and you're not gonna pillow talk with me and make all these empty promises and not follow through on them, side chick or not. You know, it's bad enough that I have to put up a facade, and that's a lot of work too. Who's gonna do all that? Who wants to live double lives? Unless you, some people have mental disorders, some people have multiple personalities. You want to be that other person and live them different personalities, then that's fine. Because I think this is tied into psychological effects of a person and a person's mental stability. So if you, that's like a person that'll stay in an abusive relationship. If you're okay with fighting and arguing with this person and you think that it's just growing pains, then go for it. But it's a mental problem because you settle in for less. So yeah, no, I'm thumb downs for the side chick.
So I think we said two really important words. Marcus said expectations, and earlier Christian said possessiveness. So I just want to be clear, when I was talking earlier, I wasn't talking about either one of those things. When I say that I'm a needy, selfish bitch, what I meant is that I need as much sex as I need. I need as much affection as I need. I need as much time and attention as I need. So the reason I can't be a side chick is not because I want to own a man's whole life. Please go have passions and jobs and friends outside of me. But if we're together, me having my orgasms is your priority. So because that's part of our relationship. And if that's not something you want to be part of your priority, then we don't need to be in a relationship. And so expectations, right? Like that's my expectation going into something. However, it's not about possessiveness, which is why I said I could be open to sharing somebody's husband as long as I get my shit met and I acknowledge my shadows in the fact that I am selfish. 100.
So yeah, I think polygamy for me is really hard to but as was stated earlier, I definitely respect it. I think it could be very noble in the sense that you are bringing somebody else in and sharing your life, and even when it comes to kids, like having another mother figure there who can help support and help love on you. I love that noble feature of it. But Christian, I kind of want to go back to what you were saying as far as I don't own you. I agree with that. And being somebody who has dealt with domestic violence, I could just stand up and clap for you for saying that. But you run a fine line, right? Because I want a man who feels like I'm special enough so that if something happens to me, I feel protected, and he feels obligated to protect and care for me more than if he saw something on the news of, some lady going through something. He doesn't feel like he needs to go save that person, right? So how do you, for the men on the phone, how do you balance that between possessiveness versus being protective and showing that woman that she's special?
So I think that possessiveness is the toxic nature of protecting, right? Like, because I'm very protective. Like that is a part of my DNA. I am a provider and I am a protector, right? I also don't feel like I own my children, right? Like they're not, I call them my children, but I'm very protective over them, right? Like if something was going to happen, I'm going to meet their needs, right? Because I love them, right? Love doesn't have to be possessive, right? Like possessive is just the toxic trait of being protective, right? And so I can do everything you're talking about without, like that being jealous or feeling like you need to come here and do what I say. You're mine, like nobody else is. Like, nah, that's not. I don't feel like love works like that, right? And so, yes, I can still do all of those things without feeling like I possess you. For instance, I'll give you an example, right? Like I got a car, it's my car. Yo, if you needed to go somewhere and you didn't have a car, come use my car. Come use it, right? Like it's my car, but like feel free to go take my car to go do whatever you gotta do. Like it's not, I'm not, but if I was like no, this is my car. Ain't nobody else driving my car. Like, no, this is my car. Nobody else is driving my car. That's not, you know what I mean? Like that's not what it is.
Okay. So then you don't believe in like, so I'll let you go, Marcus. How do you balance the line between them?
I think the line between being possessive and being possessive is weird to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that we're in a relationship, but I don't own you. And my part of being in a relationship is having somebody want to be with me and be loyal to me without me having to force the issue. That's what, makes me happy. I always say I like to be liked, and it's easy. I mean, we can all move around and date multiple people all the time. But for me, what makes a relationship special is when somebody tells me that they only want me, and I feel the same way about them. And it's just as simple as that. I'm protective also. I think that's one of the better roles I play in life, not just with my partner or whoever I'm in a relationship with. My grandmother will call me right now if there's an issue. And I got tons of cousins sitting on her front porch. But she know that, I'm the one that will get it done. But yeah, so I'm not possessive, but I like to know that you, and that's the cool part of being in a relationship for me.
I want you to respond real quick, Chanel. I wanted to respond to Marcus after your comment, though.
Oh, go ahead.
So I have to also, I also think, and this is just me, Marcus. Like I also think that is a very, like that's not in my mind, that's not love, right? Like unconditional love. Yo, can I tell you? For me to love you, you don't have to love me back. For me to be able to provide and protect for you, you ain't got to like me. You ain't got to love me. You ain't got to do none of that. And there is no prerequisite that requires you to do that for me to offer it to you. Once I love you, that's it. You don't have to ever give. You don't have to do nothing for me. And I'm not going to say that's not, it's a very hard concept, mind you, right? Like, and I've been in situations where I give and I give and I give and I give, and I'm like, damn, I really would like something back, but that's not necessary, right? That's not necessary for you to get this love. And I do think that when we think about relationships, it's like the whole "what have you done for me lately?" And I was like, yo, but what if you do nothing for me? Does that mean that you don't deserve love from me?
No, that's that's not what I was trying to say. Like, I get what you're saying. I give all the time freely, you know what I'm saying, without any expectations at all. You know what I'm saying? I heard a good quote. If you never get used, you're useless. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have a problem at all with giving myself to somebody without anything in return. But what floats my boat is having somebody make me feel like, you know what I'm saying, I'm special. Like, we can all, like I said, we can all move around and date multiple people, but you know what I'm saying, there's another level of that you don't get when you have an open relationship or you in a relationship with somebody that that you agreed to see other people.
So could you fall in love with someone who didn't love you?
I have already. You know what I'm saying? I've been there.
Could you like someone who didn't like you?
It happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? It happens all the time. Yeah. It's clear to me that we hung out, we dated or whatever, and we get to know each other. And then I understand you don't like me as much as I like you, or you don't like me at all, and I still like you. And if you need anything, you still call me. You know what I'm saying? I'm here.
Isn't there?
But
sorry.
I know where I stand now. You know what I'm saying? And whatever circle or line needs to be crossed, it's in the sand.
Isn't there a need to have some level of reciprocity though? Like if you think about relationships, it's not just an intimate relationship or a partner. It's like at work, right? If you're working like a dog and you're getting paid pennies, that there's not that reciprocation there, and it will make you feel like
less than
your energy and your time, right? Like your time that you're investing, that's your most valuable thing is your time, right?
Right.
That your time you're investing is not worth it. So yes, love is one of those things where it shouldn't be like an exchange, like it shouldn't be a currency,
Right.
but you got to match my energy to some level to make it worth my time, because 6 billion, 7 billion people on the earth, I'm sure there's somebody out there who would be happy to match that level of love and intensity that I would bring into a relationship. Right?
Exactly. Well said. Well said. I've been talking all day and I wasn't able to sum it up that way.
Good. I'm glad.
Naja, you had something to say?
Another clarifying question just for what Marcus. Yeah, just a clarifying question for what Marcus was saying. He said he was talking about the difference. Christian and Marcus were talking about the difference between being willing to give without reciprocity versus having to have reciprocity. Marcus, am I correct in saying that it's not that you've never been in that situation or you can predict you'll never be in that situation again, but you'd be hesitant to commit to a situation where you're not going to be able to expect the same energy to be matched?
Yeah, I'm not gonna commit. You know what I'm saying? We can be cordial, we can be friends, and we understand how we feel about each other. And it's a limit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna give you my last if I know that you're not gonna, I'm not gonna get the same in return. I'm not gonna give you my all. You're gonna get what what you give. And like I said, you might not even be giving anything, but if I'm not gonna inconvenience myself, for somebody that clearly let me know that, they don't even want to fuck with me, or how we communicate is limited. And that's just common sense for me. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you. I also want to put a disclaimer out here, because you got to understand the way that I think. Also, is not like it's not this unselfish, like unconditional love. I do believe I have that capacity. I also believe that I am quite jaded, and there is some level of self-protection that I've built around me to not expect anything from anyone, right? And so, some of what you're hearing is that.
And
Okay.
and also, don't people show love in different ways?
They do.
Like for one person, like for me, I'm a gift giver. Like I like to particularly spend money on people and with people who I really care for. And I might like to spend money, but some people might like what's the other love language? Like words, like nice words and stuff like that. And that might be their way of giving love. And I feel like, I'm spending all this money on you and all you're doing is doing this. But when really they're probably putting in more love energy than I am. So for you guys who are in relationships or have been in relationships, what do you do to find out, what measuring stick people have for love? Like, how do you figure out how people give love and how people like to be loved?
Don, Brenda,
I'm gonna say that I think this is where that term that that you hear all the time, side pieces are winning. Because you don't have to give your all to one person. So that person gets to come in and reap the benefits of the perception of the relationship without having to mentally and emotionally invest in the situation. And so I'm wondering if that is why people prefer to be a side piece and not say that they're in a polygamy relationship, because they don't have to invest all aspects of the relationship to benefit from the situation, if that makes sense.
A little bit, but my situation with the girlfriend I have right now, I have been mentally trying to get away from her, and I've learned to kind of overlook a lot of things. So my past has always been relationships are not as important. Like if on my vision boards, you would never see relationship. It'd be maybe in the small corner bottom next to my all my other goals in life, career goals, all those other goals, family goals, and then relationship be way down at the bottom. So right now, my late age in life, I'm trying to put relationships somewhere up there because I feel like she cares about me. So I have tried to get out of the relationship because she has lied. And the lie has been what you might call a little white lie, but usually I've cut people off because of that. Like, if tell the truth and being honest is above anything. So I would be pro polygamy if we're all in the relationship, no matter the composition. If it's 2 men and a woman, 2 women and a man, it could be 4 people. It could be more, but as long as we're all honest with each other, there'll be no reason to lie. You don't have to tell a lie about where you were at, who you was with, who came over. Little shit like that. I have historically cut people off. So this time I'm trying to say that the relationship is worth it. And just dealing with her, the relationship is worth it. So I was optioning with her for counseling. Because I was like, apparently you're not going to stop lying. These little white lies are an indicator that that's all you do. But apparently it's something psychological. So that's what page we're on right now. We're looking to even get counseling so we can be together as 2 people. So, I mean, as far as relationship goes, I'm valuing them a little bit more than I did before. But historically, I don't care if it's 3 or 4 people. Don't tell a lie. That just irritates the hell out of me.
Me too, Don.
So I have another question that leads into that, like that kind of.
I just want to say real quick, don't tell a damn lie when the truth will do. I mean, please don't.
Right.
I just can't stand that.
They made a whole movie about it. What happens in the dark comes to the light, and it always does.
And it always creates a bigger problem as well. Yeah.
Mentally, it'll mess up your relationship sexually. It'll mess up everything of your relationship.
Well, it just breaks down the foundation. It breaks down the foundation, and then that's where things do get crazy and the relationship does spiral into non-existence.
Because you can't be honest.
Correct.
You
So I
wasted
do
a
have a
whole
question that pertains to trust in relationships. So with us living in a social media era, do you find it harder to trust your significant other?
I do. But y'all know my plight right now. This is she has lied 2 times already, and I'm just like they are white lies. They're not significant, but they're enough to where it's another person involved. And if it's an ex, and if you feel like being with the ex, or if you feel like there's something there, and I feel it, then instead of even approaching me and saying, keeping it real, because I would be that person. Keep it real, come talk to me, let's sit down over coffee and say, I've been having these feelings, about my ex or whatever, but I love you too. And just put it out there on the table. Either the worst thing I could say is no. If you want to have, the best of both worlds and you want us to all deal with each other, then do that. Be upfront. I had a person that was dealing with an African guy, and most Africans believe in not polygamy, but where you have multiple wives. So instead of him telling my friend that he wanted her to be a part of his harem, he just started introducing her to possible best friends. And so later on down the road, it started to come out like, I'm like, she's at all the birthday parties. She's coming to everybody's mom's house, all your friends. This just was a strange, like, why is she here type thing. And it came out that, yeah, he was trying to make them be best friends so that he can all of a sudden be like, well, you guys are already best friends. Let's go ahead and do this. That was some backdoor stuff if I've ever heard of it. But yeah, so I don't know. No, don't lie. Don't lie.
You had me cracking up. Potential best friends, though. Like this is gonna be your lifelong friend. I cannot. But Kia, to answer your question, I think at first social media scared me when it came to relationships, but because people can be very sneaky. That sliding in the DMs is so real.
Lying.
And then you can have multiple profiles and catfishing. And then people, I saw a funny meme the other day where somebody DM'd someone and said, "This is Beyonce. I have to go to a concert. I need you to cash out me $50 for an Uber." So, I mean, people just do the most. But I think the bottom line is that as long as you know what you're bringing to the table and you know that what you got here is irreplaceable, that man or that partner, that significant other is going to be their loss. And I think at some point we have to look at ourselves and say, I'm going to be okay. If this does not work out, J-Lo is like on her 17th marriage and she's still fine. We are going to be okay. So to Don's point earlier, what happens in the dark will always come to light. And you have to be very clear on, because with Naja, I also don't think that cheating is like a super deal breaker. I think understanding the reason behind it will lead me to believe if it's a deal breaker or not. But yeah, you have to be able to have enough self-worth to say, if this dude is that dumb that he's gonna go mess with old girl who might be a man in Africa, instead of building with me, then go on, have fun.
And so when forming relationships, it is a very good idea to have your pros and cons list to see if it's something worth exploring.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
I like what you said, Chanel, about not, I think how you phrased it, you guys aren't social media ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that because I think I might be sounding old school, but your private life and your relationship, that's not something for public consumption.
Right.
And I think like what we see right now that's happening with Portia and all of that craziness, I'm like, you can't, if you invite that into your relationship, you won't turn it off, because I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna get invested. I'm on episode 3 of your drama. Don't try to go private now. I
Right.
want to know it all. So it's like either you gonna bring it out there like that or not. So I like that you're doing that. That's nurturing and protecting your relationship, and keep doing it.
Thank you, Brenda. Yeah, that's the concept. The concept is as soon as you put it out there, people are going to dissect it as much as they want, right? And then not only that, but I hate that a lot of us are like keeping up with the Joneses. Like we're always comparing our relationship to other people, and oh well, he got me that, and she did. Like that irritates the life out of me. And I have friends who do that, who have the best intentions ever, but they do that. And to your point, Brenda, it takes a toll on my relationship, because now I'm like, am I asking my man to do the right things for me? Or should I be asking for more? Should I want more? So yeah, that's the concept behind it, is keeping our relationship our relationship.
Because it's
You know,
for you, it's for you, and you don't have to be worried about that comparison craziness or fakeness, because it's a bunch of fakeness. Nobody's really being honest when they do that.
Exactly. And like, oh, he liked my friends from high school's picture and she was wearing a short dress. And then like people just take it to like, crazy heights. Like it's not that big of a deal.
I always just saw social media as entertainment, you know? And it's cool to like be able to reach out to friends you hadn't seen in a long time or family members. But it's crazy to me that how much social media controls a lot of people's lives. You know what I'm saying? They're no good without social media. I don't get it how much they allow the rest of the world into their lives and vice versa. It is crazy to me. It's just absolutely crazy to me.
It's like an addiction for some people. Like
It is. It is very much.
I wanted to ask a question of the other people on the panel, kind of personalizing. We talked about love languages a little earlier, and I'm curious, have you identified what your love languages are? And if you have, what are they? With the top two, if you will. Also, I think Chanel also said something very pertinent, because I think that, you know, just because the way you give love, that doesn't mean that's the way that other person receives love, right? And so, the way you get, or even the way you give love, can be different from the way you receive love. And so, like, if you give gifts, is that the way you also receive love as well? Is there a one-to-one correlation there? And so I like to start with you, Chanel, since I brought you into this, and what your love languages are. And is it the way you give love, is it the same way you receive?
That's a good question. I think early on I was a gift giver and I loved quality like I like to give love by giving gifts, and I like quality time. Um oh no, sorry, backwards. I like to give gifts and I like to receive gifts. Like I want my gift to be super special, super expensive, exclusive. There can only be 5 of these made in the world. But the older that I get, I realize, like, especially because I'm doing investments now, I realize that a lot of these things that we place value on in gifts are not not worth the money. So now I still like to give gifts, in the form of like patronizing your business, or like, getting a personalized gift, or, contributing to a cause or whatever. but I like to receive from a quality time and doing things that are special, even if it's just like, you know, walking somewhere, or like seeing seeing a movie or something. So that's me.
I think there should be a sixth love language, and I don't know if anybody agree, but I would call it the gift of leaving me alone. Like I'm a Sagittarius and I like a lot of alone time. And I don't want my partner, and sometimes in my marriage it has come up, I don't want you to feel offended by that. I'm also an empath. I take in too many energies and I literally need time by myself. So gift of living me alone is my love language. And my husband's love language is touch, not like just physical intimacy, but just like a hug or a back rub. So sometimes those two gifts don't match up. Gift of leaving me alone and physical touch.
I love that sixth gift. Let me just put that out there because I need that too sometimes. That's a really good one.
So I wanted to know, does anybody think that it would be beneficial to make your own relationship rules? Like, do things need to conform into society's perception of a relationship?
I wouldn't make rules. I like for things to fall in place. You know, if you got to make rules, you know, I'm not necessarily sure if that's going to be the right route, especially for me. You know, I like to just for you to be who you are and me be who I am and see if we mesh. You know, rather than setting boundaries or rules. You know, that's to me is like putting a fence up between me and my partner.
So Marcus, you and your partner have never worn matching shirts?
Yeah, in high school, you know, Sadie Hawkins dance. But no, not as an adult, you know. No, I haven't.
Is that where you draw the line, Marcus? The shirts are just
no. If my partner wanted to wear matching shirts or we want to coordinate our outfits, I'm with that.
Okay.
You could call it coordinating your outfits, but that's still just matching. I don't.
Right.
That's where I draw the line. At we're not gonna match in public. Sorry.
In colors, Don.
Hey, so Marcus, I'm curious. Like, so do you know your love languages and the way you give? Is that the way you receive too?
You know what I like to do, bro, is like I think Kia and maybe even Don would vouch for this too. I like hosting. You know, I like having you over. You know, maybe a movie dinner and just drinks. Let me cater to you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like to do, and I get a lot of pleasure out of doing that. You know what I'm saying? Even if we're not an item. You know what I'm saying? Just having friends over. You know, that's what I like to do. Yeah. I mean, I give gifts. I like giving gifts, you know, especially for like no reason or unexpected gifts, you know, and paying compliments. I like to give compliments, let somebody know how much I appreciate them, or if I saw them do something, you know, and just paying compliments and letting people know how I really feel about them. I don't have an issue with expressing my feelings, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it wasn't always that way, you know what I'm saying? You know, as youngsters, especially men, we always feel like we have to carry ourselves a certain way to be respected or to kind of like be attractive to a certain woman. But nowadays, I'm just who I am, bro. You got to take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem making myself vulnerable to somebody that I'm digging. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we were talking about last time. You know, like you're not gonna fake the funk. You are who you are, right? And I think that's
right.
That's a really important place to be. I wanted to. It was so interesting, and Chanel, you just not even just Chanel, but I think it's so interesting because when it comes to love language, I think the way we see people give out love, I think there's just an immediate expectations to think that's the way that they want to receive it too, right? Like, Naja said, Marcus, your love language is quality time, right? Based upon what you just described, right? Like you like to invite people over and you know what I mean, you like to share that time with people, and it sounds like that's what you like. That's what you like, and that's, how you give and receive love. But there's not a one-to-one correlation. And so that could be confusing. And sometimes we have to have these very intentional conversations like, yeah, I know you see me giving gifts, but I need you to tell me I am wonderful and great. You know what I mean? Like, and so, and even for the person who is giving it, they may not even understand that, right? Like they maybe I do, maybe I should give gifts because I like giving gifts, and that's just not necessarily the way it breaks down, and that can be confusing for the other person you're dealing with.
And I agree with you 100%. And that's, if you're giving gifts to get praise or to get something in return, you're giving the gift for a wrong reason. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I give because I like giving, not because I want something in return. I like to give and see, I might have lifted your or brightened your day that day, or you know what I'm saying? Not because I want something in return. I'm already happy, you know. If I needed something, I'd buy it for myself rather than giving the gift. You know what I'm saying?
What about you, Don? What's your love languages? How do you give and receive love?
I had to look that up while you said that. So I'm brand new at that. So I don't really have one per se. I'm really trying to look on the positive side because my whole past has pretty much been kind of negative as far as relationship goes. Like I wouldn't want to waste my time. I used to have a phrase that would say, if I can't claim that person on my taxes, I don't want to deal with them because they ain't gonna give me nothing. They're not gonna bring me nothing back. So that was my frame of mind. But I've been learning myself. I've been changing. So let me see. My love language would be, I think like Naja, I think she said that, where I will be like left alone, just like leave me alone, give me space. Space is big. I've never lived with a person in a relationship. So I can imagine if when I get to that point, I'm like, it got to be a big enough house where I could feel like I'm still leaving and going to my own place. I can't. If it's one bathroom in our house, it would be a deal breaker. Okay, thank you. So my love language would be just being left alone, I guess. Maybe I could get to that point. Like PDA, I can't stand that. Don't make me hold your hand in public. Don't sit all on me and show 50% of what we do in the bed on the bench. Don't do that. So I'm learning though. If we have this conversation in 6 months, I might be a different person. I might have different goals. I might have a whole different thing of love language I just haven't been introduced to yet.
Yeah.
I have a bucket list. There's a lot of things I would like to do that I have not got to the point as far as love languages go. So ask me that in 6 months.
All right, we'll revisit it. So I want to do, because I know that it's not just a conversation between us, but like I do think it's important to name out the 5 love languages, right? And maybe the 6th one is leave me alone, right? But the it's quality time, it's affection,
Yeah.
it's words of affirmation, it's gifts and acts of service, right? Those are the 5 love languages, based upon this book and this author.
Right.
I do. Someone also told me, I think Naja and I was having this conversation. Like we were also talking about how maybe even great conversations, you know what I mean? Like, the mental, stimulation, it should also maybe be a part of that too, right? Because I love having a good conversation, right? Like, and it makes me drawn more to you and feel more connected to you when we can have these conversations, right? And so, I don't want to keep us in this box of this 5 love languages based upon this author in a book, but I think it's important to name what those things are, though.
Okay.
Just real quick, in case anybody wants to go look it up, I did not look it up because I don't have time for information overload right now. But there has been somebody who has come up with a different breakdown where they split it up into 18. And apparently the author of the 5 love languages, Gary Chapman, who also has 5 apology languages, which is a whole other conversation that I think that this group might be interested in having someday, because how you need to be apologized to is a whole other like side of things, right? But apparently Gary Chapman may or may not be homophobic. And so people have been turning away from the love languages and trying to find like other alternatives for ways to talk about how we view love and how we need things from our partners. And so I can make sure that I send to whoever. Apparently there are 18 different breakdowns, and I said that was too many for me, so I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I'm not even gonna go look. But if somebody else wants to look, I will listen to somebody else talk about it.
Well, it hasn't came up, so I don't see it.
Kia, excuse me. What are your love languages? Do you know how you like to give and receive?
I'm gonna be honest and say that I'm still figuring that out, which is the reason why I haven't proceeded forward in a relationship in general. Right now, my perspective on relationships is very outside of the box, if you will. I have in my mind said that the next relationship I get in will not be based on love. It will be based on partnership and business perspective. So I have a different mindset to relationships at this point because I don't feel that I have met a person who can be high enough on the pros list that I will proceed forward in a relationship. So I'm still learning them.
That's very interesting because I think this concept of relationships turned more towards like love and affection, like within the last couple centuries, right? Before it was definitely a business deal, right? You got with this person to expand this land or expand this business, and it wasn't about love. It was like love was like, that's nice, that's cool, but and
it was
so
like an additional benefit. You know what I mean? Like I feel like when you meet somebody and you guys can collab to grow, I feel love can come out of that. So, I mean, to go into a relationship based on love would be a setup for failure because you guys realize throughout the way you can't even work together. Like you don't know how to communicate properly. You don't know how to express your emotions and feelings. And so you just have all these things that have been put in because you're seeking the love instead of the actual partnership, which is where the ship of the relation comes from.
Yo, that is real right there. That's so real.
Yeah,
for real. Like somebody passed the mic, like for real.
The ship of the relation.
Also, yes. Who do you relate with in your ship? Straight up, because, and I'm not gonna I don't want to act like reality TV is real because it's not, but one of the experts on Married at First Sight says he don't even believe in falling in love.
Girl, don't get me started.
He said he doesn't believe in falling in love, period. He only believes
me either. Me and Rakia have gone around with that show.
He said he only believes in deciding to love a person and then behaving lovingly toward that person. Like he said he don't believe in falling in love. And despite the fact that I know that I've had that like heady infatuation, I'm kind of obsessed with you feeling with people before, what I also know is that I've not been in a successful relationship before. So like love don't mean a thing, like Tina Turner said, right? And like that goes back to what Chanel was saying earlier, and it goes back to like a thought that I had about cheating and about things like that. Also, the way the royals used to do everything. Listen, this is a business. We got to marry somebody who's going to make our kingdom stronger so that we can do. And everybody was sleeping with everybody else because it wasn't about that. It was about making sure that the kingdoms were strong and making sure they were economically strong, making sure. And so, two things. Number one, that's why cheating is not a deal breaker for me. Number two, I think when it comes to like, what is he doing when he's not with me? Do I need to be suspicious of what he's doing? Listen, sir, first off, we're not just in this for the cushy feelings all the time. We're in this to like build an empire. Was it Fabulous who was like, you know, I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. So like, I'm here to make some moves. So if you want to make moves with me, there are some things that you have to do. And part of that is being honest, like Don was saying. You can't lie to me. But if you don't want to be a part of this, if you don't want to be a part of my force, don't be. Like, go ahead, go do you. If somebody can slide in your DMs and make you no longer want to be a part of my movement, then you wasn't trying to be a part of my movement anyway. So bye. See you later. And that's cool. I'm cool with it. And then the third thing is when it comes to, I think I said two, but there were three. When it comes to like love and all of that, I think we've emotionally kind of stunted ourselves because back when building a relationship, building a marriage was about building an empire and not about the touchy-feely love stuff, what we figured out is that when you're working on the same goals and when you are raising the same kids and when you're trying to build an empire together, you might accidentally fuck around and fall in love with somebody.
Girl, I'm about to, you are preaching today, okay? When is your book coming out? I'm gonna need all three of them. I do want to say, like, Kia, your whole thing on love is so important because number one, love is never enough. And love also is, it is against growth, right? Because you love somebody based on what you're seeing today. So I was in a relationship from 17 years old to, you know, my later 20s, mid 20s. And I think what went really wrong was that from 17 to 20 some, you're a completely different person, but my partner was not. He was the same, you know, wanted to do the same things, wanting to get money the same dumb ways, wanting to hang out with the same dumb people, never like expanding his horizons. And then not only that, but not being supportive of me when I would expand my horizons. So, you know, love is like, you know, like when you're a kid, you love that doll baby. You're not gonna love that doll baby when you're a teenager. And so I think to Naja's point, love is something that should constantly change, right? Like the definition of me loving you should constantly grow as you grow, but your business mindset and, you know, the fact that we want to be better than we were yesterday, better than we were last year, better than we were a decade ago, that should always stay the same. And then love can flex to that.
Yo, that's man, yo. Well, now we get into it, right? Like this is, yo. I had these conversations actually, you know, some time ago, and I was like, yo, because I got kids now. I was like, yo, you know, Black people, we should arrange marriages with our children. Not to the point where it's 1-to-1, right? It's like you're gonna marry that one person, but like you have a pool of people, parents who have like-minded kids or like-minded minds, and you know how their kids are being raised, and you're like, hey, little daughter, little son, this is what I know is going to build us to a place, right? And so maybe this love feeling stuff was it was to actually retract us, right? To de-evolve us, to keep us, very basic and not, to be, creating these empires, right? And so I know people are like, I don't know about arranged marriages, but the idea of having, like, like Chanel, like having your kids look at my kids, like, I know your mindset, I know how you are, I know how you get down, you know how I get down. Like, yo, these kids are going to potentially offer you a way to continue to have generational wealth, have values that are high bar, high standard, instead of me trusting your feelings to go get somebody that could be a bum and does nothing for anybody in our community.
Absolutely. And I think what you're explaining, Christian, is not like you have to marry this person. That's the only person that you're going to marry, but it's being exposed to each other, right? Like, let's make sure that our families actually have time to spend time together, get, your son and my daughter or whoever to spend that quality time, so that when the time comes that it's marriage time, that you have somebody in front of you. I love my parents dearly, but I wish I had their help when it came to getting into serious relationships at such a young age. So yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Or we could even kind of look at the culture, the Indian culture, because India, they go through dowries. They only will hook up and put a marriage together by the person that brings the most to the table. They have that couple maybe go out to see how they work with each other, their chemistry with each other, and then that coupled with what they bring to the table, because they have to give the parents all kinds of stuff, a goat, some money, some clothes, something, everything has to get brought to the table before that woman decides she's going to be with that man. So, I mean, we can have a pre-screening like that too, to kind of make sure that everything is in order before you jump into it.
Exactly.
I don't think any of it would hurt. I honestly think that a perception has been placed on the idea of love and relationships that has definitely put you in a blind situation. Like, you have this perception, but that's not what your reality shows you. You know what I mean? So I think that you're looking for something that really doesn't exist. And so I think it's a whole process that you should come to grips with, to know when you're out here trying to date, like, what exactly you're looking for. For one, you have to know yourself. And a lot of people tend not to take that time to know who they really are, what they like, what they don't like, what they will tolerate, what they won't tolerate. They don't know those things, and they use the relationships to learn themselves. And that's kind of where things go awry. So if you know yourself well, and then you meet someone, you can pretty much break down your pros and cons list real fast, and if that person is even worth spending any more time talking to. You know what I mean? So that's the benefit of, like, knowing yourself. I do definitely agree with the arranged marriages, like, and it should be like a vetting process where they do get to see if there is a connection and things of that nature. I think that would just help us a lot, because we've really gone astray, and I really do fear for our future, because the way that society is now, the falsehood is real. I mean, there is so much Disneylandness roaming around that people are just out of touch with reality. Like, reality just is not something that people can deal with anymore. It made us a super sensitive society, and this is just what needs to happen at this point.
So I know I came in kind of at the back end to our conversation when you guys started, but did you guys cover the sexual aspect of this, especially concerning our generation versus millennials and stuff? Because
go ahead, talk about it. Talk about sex, girl. Talk about it.
Okay, so now things that would have been, would have been not allowed back then or in traditional times, everything is on the table now.
They're doing it all. They're doing it all.
They got 8 different names. I can't even tell you them right now. I don't know them by heart. I'm sorry. I would have to look it up. The categories. I know that if I go to a doctor's appointment, they ask me, do I want to be referred to as he, she, or her, or him? And I'm like, okay, we on a whole different level. So I have kids that are millennials, and they are off the chain, and there's nothing that they won't do. Nothing. Guys and girls in the cultures, across cultures, they are off the chain. So we're talking about our generation. How is that playing a part? Because I have goal aspirations, especially introducing sex is an important part of a relationship to me. It's very important. If we don't get along sexually, I really am going to consider whether we should go further, because that means that you are going to be my best friend, and then we just won't be intimate. But then I don't want to deprive myself from that at this point. I'm not ready for that yet.
You don't think that would hurt the situation? Like, just like using sex as the front line?
And most of us do.
But you don't see why that's a problem?
I didn't hear her say using it as the front line. I just heard her say it is an important part, and I heard her comparing it to the past where we've acted like it's not a part at all. And so, like, to expand on what Don was saying, that goes back to what I was saying in the beginning, and I was trying to pretend to be conservative for 2 seconds in the beginning. Like, one of the biggest things that is a problem, like, so what I said is why relationships go astray is because we don't know ourselves. And so part of not knowing ourselves is not knowing ourselves sexually, right? So whether people want to believe it or not, a whole lot of people are bisexual and a whole lot of people are trans, and folks don't want to act like they are. Everybody, like, when we were younger, people wanted to put everybody in one or the other box. Now we know that that's not the wave. So as we teach our kids and as we let our kids be who they really are, we've got to figure out how to safely and responsibly let them know themselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and sexually, because it's ridiculous to try. I mean, some people are asexual. That's part of the thing too, right? But it's ridiculous to try to go into a relationship with a person if your intention is monogamy, but not know, like, how do you know that you don't want to be with women if you've never tried it? How do you know you don't want to be with men if you've never tried it? I'm not saying that everybody got to try everything, but like, you have to at least have thought about some things. You have to have asked yourself some things. You have to have talked to your friends about some things. You have to have considered some things, because I mean, I don't know if y'all have these friends, but like, growing up in church, especially, I was that like 2, 3, 4 times a week at church girl. So growing up in church, you have kids who, specifically women, because, you know, the bystander or the double standard between men and women, girls who grew up never having explored anything sexually. They didn't talk about sex. They didn't hear about sex. They didn't masturbate. They didn't watch porn. They knew nothing about sex until their wedding day. And then they were supposed to only have sex with that person for the rest of their lives. And I'm going to tell you very unequivocally, most of those people are divorced.
Agreed. And I know the men in this group, I don't want you guys to be anti, give input. I feel like, from what I see, men nowadays, I don't think they should be categorized. I don't think you guys should be put in a box. I feel like if I was with a man, I would want him to be open to exploring different things. I would not say that he's gay if he's with me and he would be opposed to me doing something with his anus or something Because things like
Oh,
that, Black men specifically, you guys get real put in a box, like you're not open to things like that. But if you're in a marriage, you've been married to this woman, and you guys are open to different things, then I think you should just be okay with that, and don't be like, no, I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? Just be open.
I'm very open, but what does your finger get from putting it in my ass? Like that it does. Your finger
It's
gets nothing from
scientific
putting it in my
pleasure
ass.
for you. This is scientifically, it's a pleasure for you. It's
No,
supposed to be
I
a
will.
cord that's
You're
near
right, Don.
your
Don,
balls that's
I
supposed to
agree.
make you come. It's supposed to be pleasure back there.
Don, I agree with you, Don. I am a scientist, right? Like I'm biology, right? So let me tell you very distinctly. I understand the G spot is in a man's butt, right? Like I do. I get that. I get that. I don't need you to hit my G spot to be sexually satisfied, though, right? Like we can have vanilla all day, all night. Like I mean, I don't need. I don't know. Look, here's the thing. I don't know. I'm sure it's pleasurable. It's wonderful.
I'm just saying,
I
be open.
I
Would you
know,
be open? If you
but
were married
I've
to a
also
woman,
heard.
y'all been
I,
together 15 years, would you be open?
I, listen to what I'm saying to you. Like, um, it's, it's very awkward, right? So, and I want to be real. Let's have these difficult conversations. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to skirt away from it at all, right? I had a woman who begged me to, like bend me over and put her tongue in my butt. She begged me for months upon months upon months, and I just was like, no, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And then I finally was like, fine, stop asking me. And then she did that shit, and I didn't like it, right? I felt very vulnerable. I was on all fours. She had my booty cheeks spread out, you know what I mean? And I just was like, this is not what I want, right? I've
Right.
also heard before that, oh, I heard the high from crack cocaine is great. I don't need to do that to know that's not what I want. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying here.
It's not for everybody. Okay, I got you. I'm only saying that because I know it relates to polygamy. There's an underlying, everything is like related to sex. There's an underlying thing. The whole internet was created because of sex, because of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's always there. It's always there. It's the fuel that pumps.
Y'all need to put me on game. First of all, what is vanilla?
That's what I was gonna say. Can I give some terms?
Please, thank you.
So I'll give some terms. Okay, number one, and I'm gonna also say this because I think that what Dawn is trying to say might not necessarily be something that we've all heard. So what Dawn's talking about is like the idea, because I had a guy that I dated say this to me, and I'll also be vulnerable and say, I did it with a girl once because I wanted to know, like, how do I know if I'm gay or not? I don't know because I never tried it. So I tried it. I don't like vagina. That's what I found out. So now we know. Cool.
Facts.
Good to know. But I had a guy a man tell me that if a man does it with another man, he's gay, period. I said, what if he only does it that one time? And he was like, so doesn't matter. He's gay now. And I was like, that makes literally no sense. He was like, nope, he's gay now. And I know for a fact that that's a pervasive ideology. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew that I think that's what Don's alluding to a little bit there. So for terms, so vanilla is going to be kind of your opposite of anything that's kinky or BDSM. Vanilla is going to be things that only use your body. Some people would not put oral in vanilla. I do put oral in vanilla, but that's whatever. So then kinky stuff is going to be implements,
anything with a tool.
Toys, implements, toys, food, any of that stuff. Your kink, your what does BDSM stand for? Bondage, dominance, and sadomasochism.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Sadomasochism.
And so, the whole spectrum, right? So there are women who are doms, and there are men who are subs, but there are men out there who would say that a man who's a sub is gay, even if he only sleeps with women who are doms. And so we're confusing all of our terms because of toxic masculinity.
I feel thoroughly educated. Thank you. Now,
Marcus, you want to jump in here? Marcus, what's your thing about what Don?
My thing is, I have no problem at all pleasing my partner. You know what I'm saying? I'm a
So
freak.
you would do it for her.
No, listen, I'm not gonna be penetrated at all. I get off on pleasing my partner. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing it all for you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want done to you, I'm gonna do it.
But why do you not like being? Why would you not?
I'm not built like that. I'm not built to be penetrated.
Okay, you might not want to be penetrated, but do you like to get head?
I do.
Okay, well then you like to get pleased, and so there's a
I do.
difference.
Yeah, and listen, you know, I like to be licked everywhere.
And I'm
You know
not
what
here
I'm
to
saying?
convince you. I'm not trying to sell you.
No, I already know.
I'm just
I
saying
get what you're saying, but
never say
no.
never.
Me achieving an orgasm is like the greatest thing on earth, right? For me. So I don't see any other reason why I should have to do something that I feel that would be degrading to me to try to heighten
See,
that.
that's the problem. You feel like it would be degrading. So, and that's why I said
and listen, it's not even me using the term degrading is only a small part of that. Me, who I am, no, I'm not gonna ever. If it's not a doctor checking my prostate, you will not penetrate me.
What if your girl's a doctor? What if your girl's a doctor? She
So to keep it from being so like attacking the men for not wanting their women to put a strap on, like I don't like anal sex for my man. So like there are just everybody's got their stuff, right?
Exactly.
So,
right.
Yeah. And it's, you know, that's just not something I always thought was sexy or would be pleasurable. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. I can't even visualize that being pleasurable at all.
Right. And I only brought it up as far as things that are like taboo, you know. So
right. I don't even like
salad toss
like
is a thing nowadays. Everybody's supposed to salad toss nowadays. So
I don't even like having anal sex with women.
I didn't even realize I was muted. But can somebody tell me who the fuck was the smart motherfucker that was like, I'm gonna go out here and eat some ass. And I'm telling everybody about it. And I just gotta get down with the get down. Who the fuck was that person?
Tossing salad is like oral.
Right.
Anal. Okay.
Yeah. Ass though.
Yeah,
you never stop eating ass. So
yeah. You put your tongue in and out of butt. In and out of butt, tongue in and out of butt.
Why would they put that with salad though? Like, why do you?
Because there's nothing green about it. There's nothing green about it.
Maybe it depends what they've been eating.
these words are in songs nowadays. Like it's in a song.
I mean,
that's crazy. Though. Like, does anybody find that to be weird?
No,
because I think it's
weird. It is weird.
Just
it should be like
it's ass. Oh my god! I got to have some.
So normally that's like a bucket list thing for me. I have not done it. It's not comfortable for me. So it's me being out of my comfort zone. If I get with somebody and I'm with them for a long time and sky's the limit at that point, yeah, I would want to try. But I know from talking to people and the information that I've gotten from people that get that done a lot and do that a lot, there are procedures and things that need to be done before you go to that point, you know.
Procedure. That sounds like a trip to the doctor.
Yeah, like you have to be. You should be clean back there. You have to do something like an enema. Something about your making sure your bowels are regulated and all that. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, well, why would you just want to go and do all that just for some ass play? Like, I'm gonna just need you to leave the ass alone because it's an exit only. Like, just
but if somebody
ass like it is. Let that be ass like it is.
Listen,
from the 1800s. You're a very traditional person.
I'm not. Yeah. I just am like, wow. I miss the boat.
I think
this all the time.
If you like it, I love it. That's fine. Look, people do what they want, but I'm saying, like, to you, Don, like to you, I was saying to you is that like I think it's about comfortability, and that's what Marcus was talking about. And it's not that we're not open to it, but like if we don't feel comfortable as men, it's not gonna translate sexually, right? Like if you're not comfortable, it's not gonna be sexually enjoyable for whoever, whether it's a woman or a man, right? And Naja said it very plainly, like she tried some things and she didn't like it, right? And that's just as simple as it is. And so it just really is about your comfortability. And you can't, if you're not comfortable with it, it's not gonna be enjoyable, right? Like it's not. And so there's something about some and I don't know, some people like it, some people love it, that's cool. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't do it or whatever. If that's what you like, that's fine. If you like eating chocolate ice cream, you know what I mean, or tossing salad, do what you do.
Right. And listen, I don't judge people that I know that have done that before. Yeah, I don't judge them. You know what I'm saying? It's that's what they do.
It's something that they like.
Something they like, something they derive pleasure from. But I can't imagine at all that being pleasurable.
So Marcus, do you agree or disagree with my friend who says if you do it one time, you gay now?
Yes.
So let me tell you, they have men when they go to jail, they call them jail wives in jail, and they're guys. And as long as you give in, it's okay while you're in jail because it doesn't count. And then when you get out, it's okay.
It's basically gay for the state.
Still gay.
Yeah, they're gay wives. They call them gay wives. Not gay wives, but they call
what I love?
Jail wives or something, or jail wives, something wives.
Yeah. No, yeah. Listen, what I love about Marcus is that you are very simple. Like, yes, no.
I'm still to the point to where we could come back in 6 months and Marcus could fall in love and get with somebody, be with them, and we would be reviewing this, and it could be a very different circumstance. That's what I feel.
I bet you he ain't gonna come up here and say, "Yes, I did try it." And
you don't know that, kid.
Fuck no, I don't like it.
Promise you.
I can put money on it.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can, and I will. And I will.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
I'm penetrating myself. I did anal. My kid's father. I got 2 children that are grown now, and with him, I did try it, and I mean, at the time, it's one of those things where at the time it's cool, but the after effects is like, no.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question. Could it be that he possibly went crazy after that?
Why would he go crazy?
I mean, I'm saying like he turned.
And would that make him? Would that make him
turn into this person? How were things before that happened?
It didn't have an effect.
How were things before that happened?
They were normal. It didn't change.
And so then that happened. And then he started tripping and doing all the stupid shit that he was doing that made y'all crumble apart.
No, he was doing stupid shit before. That whole situation was irrelevant. But some men, they asked. I mean, I don't know if you guys have done that. The 2 guys in the room with your girlfriends. If you've done anal to her, I don't know if that would mean that you would just do anal with anybody, but you know what I'm saying? Because some women, I don't know why a woman would like that, because I don't know if that scientifically ties into RG spot. I don't know.
Yeah, you got spots in there too. Yeah, I mean, but that again, that don't. I that's weird to me. Like that doesn't make you. You're with a woman, right? And so. You can't. How can you be considered gay if you're doing something with a woman? I don't understand that piece.
I personally did not enjoy anal with the woman.
Okay.
Why not?
Shit is gross.
Say that again.
Christian.
Look, I was muted. I said, is it because it's ass?
Yeah, it just wasn't. I just didn't enjoy it. I like pussy.
Okay, I was just saying, I was just wondering because I don't be understanding. Like,
Marcus don't play around.
you
I
just
like
don't
pussy.
like ass play.
Right. I like pussy. I mean, it didn't. I don't get any. I don't. It
I
didn't
think
do
it's a
anything
mental
for me.
thing. It's a mental thing, but on what you like,
I
because
don't know if it's a mental thing. I have a
if
serious
it's a
issue
hole,
with
put
ass
it down.
play. I don't like that shit. Like,
I'm
And
like,
before,
go on with
and
that shit.
before I did it,
Because it's shit.
I just thought that it was gonna be wonderful. You know what I'm saying? But I did not enjoy it.
Yo, it's like, listen, I've done it to a woman before. I've done it to a woman, right? It's quite nasty. For the simple fact, like when you smells and then you got some remnants. I mean, I should just dip my dick in the toilet and swing. You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels.
Like I said, it's
Like
ass.
like
Not
I
sexy.
said, there are
It's
Not
steps
ass.
that
sexy.
need to be taken from what I learned.
That's where
There
your
are
toxins come from on a consistent basis. There
Not
are some
sexy.
things that you just should not cross boundaries with. I'm
It's
sorry.
not sexy to me.
You gotta have boundaries.
Oh,
Naja, Chanel, how do you guys feel about this? About anal?
Well, so as I already said, I'm not, well, two things, but I also want to ask, I feel like I already know, Marcus already said, but I want to ask Christian, because he was like, I did anal to the woman, but what if your woman wants to peg you with her strap on? That's that's a question. Anyway, that's what people be doing out here. Look at Marcus's face. He said no. Christian said
no.
okay. So
Right.
Listen,
Mark,
if a chick,
right now.
if a female approached me with that question,
Yeah, no. You're not pegging shit here. This ain't no
yeah,
peg. When you said peg, you lost me there. You're not pegging. I don't even know. I fully don't understand. Like that. No. And why you got a strap on anyway? What do you got
yeah,
a strap on for?
go fuck with whoever you've been fucking with it.
Because I'm not
It
going to.
ain't gonna,
And we're gonna be like, oh, you should get that strap on, because then you're gonna start to get curious. Why do you got a strap on
yeah.
anyway?
Whatever motherfucker you been fucking with the strap on, you need to keep fucking with him.
oh goodness. Okay, so to answer your questions about it.
Do you own a strap on, Nadia?
Oh my freaking gosh, no. So I am definitely
no.
So listen, okay, for real. Let me clear the air here. I am very I listen to a lot of people and I talk to a lot of people and I have a lot of weird friends. Okay, so I know a lot of things, but I don't do a lot of things. Like on the BDSM test, my vanilla score is a smooth 73% vanilla. Okay, so I am not geeky out here in these streets. But,
so masturbating, you don't use tools.
Yeah, but no. This conversation took a turn, but I mean it's fine. I just want to say the anal thing because I think it's really interesting. And it's about relationships, right? So I have one friend, one of the guys I was in love with, and we only broke up because he moved to, I live in Oklahoma. He moved to to a coast. I won't identify him by saying which coast. And we started out not having sex because he was a virgin. So it was like 3 years after our original situation when we started having sex. We talked about it a lot. Communication is key. And he used his hands a lot and his mouth a lot. So he asked me beforehand and he put his fingers in my butt, which is not a thing that I've done with other people. It's not a thing that I've done with other people. And it was fine. I'm not going to say that I would ever be like, please put your finger in my butt. Like that's what I need from you right now. But it was fine. He and I have not had anal sex. I think that during the oral process, there was probably some straying, but it was not like this is where we're concentrating. Okay. And so, whatever. But I only have found that to be okay with him. I've had anal sex with 2 other people because I believe in trying everything once. I think I established that. So the first time I was like, let's try it. Let's see what happens. I was like, didn't like that. But then there was a different person I was with and he wanted to try it. And I was like, well, maybe I just didn't like it because of the person I was with. So I tried it with the second person too, and I still didn't like it. So now I just tell people pretty regularly that I don't do any butt stuff. If I get to a person who I've been with for a long time, like this guy who I've been messing with for 10 years, like if I get to a person like that where we have a long established history and we have really good communication and then he wants to venture out, then I might like let him, because I think that the reason it's okay with this other person is because we have so much communication and trust built up, you know?
Yes. Yeah. And I agree with that. It has to be trust. And that's the only reason why, Marcus, I'm not pointing you out or nothing, but I'm just saying if you get into a long-term relationship with, as far as it goes, you know, what is the limit? Because one thing we don't talk about is sexuality. And I agree with Naja and Chanel said that at some point you have to be comfortable with yourself. And I'm at that point. So I felt like introducing it to this discussion because it is important to know yourself, you know, and knowing yourself means being open and not just wanting to be one type of person. You know, we could always evolve into different people all the time. So I'm just right at that threshold where I'm being more open-minded, especially my generation, being way more open-minded, not to be compared with the millennials. I can't go half of the directions. I will never be in those S&M. You'll never bondage me up. None of that stuff. Knock on wood. I'm never gonna say never, but I don't like it right now.
I think that I know myself well enough and comfortable enough with my sexuality is the reason that I try so hard to please my partner. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, not that I try hard, but I'm comfortable with pleasing my partner to the level that she needs to be pleased. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, you know, like when you were younger, you wouldn't dare do oral on a girl as a teenager and then have all your friends know about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now at my age, I'm comfortable enough to please my woman or my partner to whatever level she needs to be. And I'm comfortable enough with my sexuality to do that. You know what I'm saying? I know myself well enough that I'm comfortable doing to her what she needs to be done.
So yeah, I the whole conversation had me cracking up. Since this is live, I won't share my backside stories, but happy to talk to any of you individually. Kia, I wanted to ask you though, like if you did find somebody that has like that business mindset, he's fine, he, you know, matches your hustle, but the bed game is just trash. What do you do?
Tell
the truth.
On to the next one.
Tell the truth.
Okay, here's the thing. So, like,
you
can always teach somebody things in the bedroom.
But do you really want to teach somebody?
It depends on how much I really like him.
Okay.
Because see, y'all know me. My ass will go on hiatuses, and then I'll be like, "Ain't nobody getting shit." Bro, I don't really give a shit. It doesn't bother me.
So
you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Bill Gates wants to get with Kia.
Okay, no, he's not attractive, ma'am. You said fine. you said now there has to be an attraction. There has to be an attraction.
I am so sorry.
To some degree.
Marcus, I apologize, but I'm gonna just throw it out. Like I feel like several of us are on the same page. But somebody said something about you can teach him, but you can't teach him to use equipment he doesn't have. So like, there's only there's only so much that like there's the compatibility.
It doesn't have to be.
It
doesn't always have to be like about size though. Either.
No, it's not always about size. But if the issue with the sex is a dick issue, then you can't do nothing about it.
Yeah,
like
that was
impotence. Impotence.
Right.
Oh
exactly.
shit.
Okay.
Yeah. And let me tell you what I'm 48, right? And impotence, as I've talked to older guys, like, what should I expect? You know what I'm saying? When I get older, you know, my old man, he's 67. And I asked him, he was like, you're going to have to talk to somebody a lot older than me. But he's saying that it's not the physical part, it's your libido. You know what I'm saying? It's you wanting it or being excited about it. It's not the physical, it's not your dick. You know what I'm saying? Your dick gonna always work. But it's your libido. It's your energy that you have for sex, you wanting it. You know what I'm saying?
So in general, the older a guy gets, the shorter amount of time he wants to put into sex, you know, and then women, the older they get, the longer amount of times they want to put.
And it may have something to do with like me not pursuing you as much and you're not getting as much, you know what I'm saying? And then it might be like right now, like men as boys, we want it all the time. So you're getting it all the time. So as I get older, I might not want it as much and you might not be getting it as much. So you may feel horny all the time where my libido is, I'm older now. I don't get excited about sex like I used to. You know what I'm saying?
Or it goes for 5 minutes or something like that.
Well, I don't know about that one, but but there is,
you're not a 5 minute.
Like as young men, that is our whole drive. And once we get into a certain age and we figured it out, you know what I'm saying? You might have a rotation or you might have a partner that you're with all the time. So you're not chasing it or it's not, you know what I'm saying? You got to figure it out. It's not on your mind as much, you know?
So that's why I said our generation, Kia, the bucket of the choices that we have to look at for gentlemen is going that direction. Unless we're going to get a sugar baby, you know, and then relationships with sugar babies is basically polygamy.
And see, that's why I say that it's a force. Like I'm being forced to have to see because no, I can't.
I agree with you.
I can't. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. I don't want to make no choice to have to deal with a motherfucker that's confused on what the fuck is going on. I don't know.
Meaning the sugar baby?
Surprisingly, these younger dudes be on more shit than these older niggas. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I'm not fucking with no little ass nigga though. I'm just saying. Just put that out.
Hey, Kia, Don, you guys, as much as I like having y'all to myself.
We've been on here for a minute. We've been on here for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
I gotta go.
Okay,
I do have things to do as well.
Listen,
I'm sorry, but this was great.
One day, we have to let's sit down and have dinner in person.
Yes.
One day, all of us.
Yeah.
Okay, you only said Kia and Don, like me and Nadia. Like.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I can't. Everybody, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's have fun. Let's go out and have dinner.
Sit me in the corner.
Yep. Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, let's see. Yeah. So we got it. We'll keep this going, but yeah, we totally need to.
Okay.
Because this was great. I can definitely say I learned some things.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for
all right. We'll see you later.
Being apart yet again.
Love you
and
guys.
We gonna get with it.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.